my porch, and I haven't broken any law.
Yeah, everybody says that. Where'd you get that fake badge?
It's not fake. It's issued by the state of Ohio. Take a clear look.
Turn around, hands behind your back.
You're making a great mistake, officer. Don't say I didn't warn you.
We'll sort it out downtown.
April 12th, 2023, a Wednesday evening in suburban Ohio. What you're about to see is captured entirely on police body cam footage. Every word, every moment, every choice. This is The Judge on the Porch. Maple Grove is the kind of neighborhood where people still wave to each other from their driveways. Tree-lined streets, well-kept lawns, the kind of place where nothing ever happens. Until it does. 1522 Riverside Drive, a modest two-story home with white trim and a wraparound porch. Judge Tamara Williams has lived here for 6 years. She's 43, a municipal court judge, respected, known in the community, but on this particular evening, none of that will matter. Her parents are visiting from Atlanta. Gerald, 71, Diane, 68. They've been there since Sunday. It's their first time seeing her new garden. Wednesday evening, the sun is setting. Judge Williams steps outside to water the planters on her porch. She's still wearing what she wore to work that morning, a blue suit jacket over a crisp white blouse. She has no idea what's about to happen. A patrol car pulls up to the curb. Officer Derek Moss steps out, 7-year veteran of the Maple Grove Police Department. His body cam is rolling. He walks up the driveway with purpose. Evening. Good evening, officer. Can I help you? What happens next will be dissected frame by frame, by lawyers, by the media, by civil rights organizations. But in this moment, it's just two people on a porch. One of them has a badge. The other has no idea she's about to become national news. Yeah, we received a lead about someone matching your description in the area. Need to ask you a few questions. I'm sorry, a lead about what exactly? She sets down the hose, straightens up. Her voice is measured, calm. This is a woman who has spent years in courtrooms, who understands the law better than most, but right now, the law isn't going to protect her. Suspicious activity. Someone called it in. You match the description we were given. What description would that be? He doesn't answer. Instead, he steps closer. Ma'am, I'm going to need to see some identification. She reaches into her jacket pocket, pulls out her wallet, hands him her driver's license. Officer Moss takes it, glances at it, doesn't scan it, doesn't call it in, just holds it between two fingers like it's junk mail. This says Tamara Williams. That's correct, that's my name. And you're saying you live here? I'm not saying it, I'm telling you. I own this home. I've lived here for 6 years. Then she says the words that should have ended this encounter immediately. Officer, I'm a municipal court judge. I work at the downtown courthouse. You can verify that right now if you'd like. What happens next is captured with perfect clarity. A judge? Right. Sure you are. He shakes his head, looks back toward his patrol car like he's sharing a joke with an invisible audience. Ma'am, we hear that all the time. Everybody's a lawyer, a judge, a city councilman when we show up. You can drop the act. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't need to. I am not acting. My name is Tamara Williams. I am a sitting judge in this county. That is my real identification. And if you would take 30 seconds to verify it, this conversation would be over. But he doesn't verify it. He doesn't call dispatch. He doesn't follow protocol. He's already decided. And what he's decided, what he won't say out loud, but hangs in the air between them like smoke, is this. He doesn't believe a black woman in this neighborhood could be a judge. Officer Moss holds up the ID again, squints at it under the porch light. This looks fake. I assure you it's not. Did you buy this online? Amazon? One of those websites? Behind Judge Williams, her father steps forward. His voice is shaky but firm. What is going on out here? Officer Moss ignores him completely. His focus stays locked on Judge Williams. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to be straight with me. Where did you get this ID from? The Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles, like everyone else. Uh-huh. She takes a slow breath. This is the moment where she has to make a choice. Does she comply? Does she argue? Does she let this man, who clearly doesn't believe her, take control of the situation? She chooses clarity. Officer, I am asking you, respectfully, to verify my identity. Call your dispatch, run my name. It will take less than a minute. I don't need to run anything. I can tell when someone's lying. What should have been a simple misunderstanding is now something else entirely. Officer Moss isn't listening. He isn't following protocol. He's decided, without evidence, without verification, without any legal basis, that the woman standing on this porch is lying to him. Ma'am, here's what's going to happen. You're going to step down off that porch and come with me so we can sort this out. Sort out what? You haven't told me what I'm accused of. You haven't verified my identity. You haven't given me any legal reason why I should go anywhere with you. I don't need to explain myself to you. Actually, under the Fourth Amendment, you do. Officer Moss takes a step onto the bottom porch step. Don't start quoting law at me. I'm a judge. Quoting law is quite literally my job. Turn around. I'm not turning around. I haven't committed a crime. Ma'am, turn around right now or I will place you under arrest for obstruction. Obstruction of what? You haven't stated a crime. You haven't verified who I am. You're on my property without cause. Diane Williams, Judge Williams' mother, pushes open the screen door. Her voice cracks with fear. Tomorrow, what is happening? Ma'am, stay inside. This is my daughter's house. Stay inside. Now hold on just a minute, sir. I will arrest you too if you interfere. Judge Williams raises a hand toward her parents, trying to keep them calm, trying to keep this from spiraling further. Mom, Dad, it's okay. Just stay there. She turns back to Officer Moss. Her voice is steady, but there's steel in it now. Officer, you are making a serious mistake. I am telling you, clearly and calmly, I am Judge Tamara Williams. I sit on the bench at Franklin County Municipal Court. I have jurisdiction over cases in this city, and if you do not verify my identity right now, you are going to regret what happens next. I don't respond well to threats. That wasn't a threat. It was a warning. Turn around. Now. Neighbors are starting to appear. A woman across the street stands in her driveway, phone raised. A man 2 houses down steps onto his lawn, watching. Judge Williams looks at Officer Moss one more time. You are violating my civil rights. Turn around. She doesn't. And that's when he reaches for his handcuffs. What are you doing? She didn't do anything. Get your hands off my daughter. Officer Moss grabs Judge Williams by the arm, spins her around, pulls her hands behind her back. The cuffs snap on. She doesn't resist. She doesn't fight. She goes completely still. For the record, I complied. I told you who I was. You chose not to listen. He walks her down the driveway. Her parents are on the porch, frozen in disbelief. Neighbors are recording. And Judge Tamara Williams, a sitting municipal court judge, is being placed in the back of a patrol car on her own front porch in her own neighborhood for the crime of being someone Officer Moss didn't believe she could be. The patrol car winds through the neighborhood streets. In the back seat, Judge Williams speaks. Her voice is steady, but there's an edge to it now. Not anger, but the sharp clarity of someone who knows exactly what's happening and exactly what it means. Officer, I need you to hear me clearly. My name is Tamara Williams. I am a municipal court judge. I sit on the bench at the Franklin County Courthouse. My chambers are on the 3rd floor. I have colleagues who can verify my identity. I have staff. I have court records. I am telling you this because you are making a mistake that is going to have serious consequences. You can tell all that to the desk sergeant. I've been telling it to you. You're choosing not to listen. Ma'am, everyone says they're somebody when they get arrested. I'm not somebody. I'm a specific person with a specific job that can be verified in under 60 seconds. Why won't you verify it? Is it because you don't believe me? Or is it because you don't want to believe me? She leans back against the seat. The cuffs bite into her wrists. She closes her eyes for a moment, then opens them and speaks directly into the camera above the partition. For the record, I asked this officer multiple times to verify my identity. I provided my identification. I told him my occupation. He refused to check. He refused to call dispatch. He laughed at me. And then he arrested me on my own front porch in front of my elderly parents without probable cause, without a warrant, and without any legal justification. You done? No, I'm just getting started. The Maple Grove Police Department headquarters is a low brick building with fluorescent lights and the faint smell of burned coffee. Officer Moss pulls into the sally port, gets out, opens the back door. Judge Williams steps out carefully, hands still cuffed behind her back. He guides her through the side entrance and into the processing area. The desk sergeant, a barrel-chested man named Sergeant Cole, looks up from his paperwork. He sees a woman in a blue suit, hands cuffed, being led in by Officer Moss. What do we got? Suspicious activity call. Subject was uncooperative. Possible false ID. Judge Williams speaks immediately. Sergeant, my name is Tamara Williams. I'm a municipal court judge. This officer arrested me at my home without cause and refused to verify my identity. I need you to run my name right now. Sergeant Cole looks at Officer Moss. You didn't run her? She was uncooperative. I was going to do it here. Her name's Tamara Williams. That's what the ID says? Yeah. Sergeant Cole types into his computer. There's a pause. His eyes move across the screen. Then they go wide. He looks up at Judge Williams, then at Officer Moss, then back at the screen. Are you Judge Tamara Williams, Franklin County Municipal Court? Yes. Sergeant Cole stands up so fast, his chair rolls backward. Jesus Christ. He comes around the desk, pulling keys from his belt. Get those cuffs off her, now. Sarge, she was. I said now. The cuffs come off. Judge Williams rubs her wrists slowly, deliberately. She doesn't say a word. Sergeant Cole's face has gone pale. Your Honor, I am so sorry. This should never have happened. You're right, it shouldn't have. By now, other officers have noticed. A lieutenant steps out of his office. A detective pauses mid-conversation. The room has gone completely silent. The lieutenant approaches. His badge catches the light. Judge Williams. Yes? Lieutenant Brennan, I've appeared in your courtroom. He looks at Officer Moss. His expression hardens. What the hell happened? Judge Williams answers before Officer Moss can. I was arrested at my home without probable cause. Officer Moss refused to verify my identity despite being told repeatedly who I am. He accused me of having a fake ID. He handcuffed me in front of my parents and transported me here without running my name or calling dispatch. Is that accurate? Officer Moss opens his mouth, closes it, opens it again. There was a call. She matched. What call? Suspicious activity. Suspicious activity is not a crime. Did you verify the call? Did you run her ID? Did you follow any protocol? Office, now. He turns to Judge Williams. Your Honor, I cannot apologize enough. I don't want apologies. I want badge numbers. I want body cam footage. I want the name of every supervisor on duty tonight. I want dispatch logs, and I want that officer placed on administrative leave immediately. It will be done. It better be. By the next morning, Officer Derek Moss is on unpaid administrative leave. By that afternoon, the body cam footage has been requested by Judge Williams's attorney. By the end of the week, it's on every news channel in Ohio. A sitting judge arrested on her own porch without probable cause. Body cam footage reveals a disturbing pattern. The footage is damning, not because it shows violence, not because it shows yelling or chaos, but because it shows something worse. The casual, confident exercise of power against someone who didn't deserve it, couldn't stop it, and shouldn't have had to prove she was worthy of basic respect. The public reaction is immediate and fierce. Protests organize outside City Hall, editorials flood local papers, civil rights organizations issue statements. The footage spreads nationally. Judge Williams files a federal civil rights lawsuit. Unlawful arrest, false imprisonment, violation of 4th and 14th Amendment rights. She seeks $9 million in damages. The city tries to fight it for about 2 weeks. Then the reality sets in. There's body cam footage. There are witnesses. There's no defense. Officer Derek Moss is arrested, charged with official misconduct, false arrest, and deprivation of civil rights. He's released on bond, but placed under house arrest pending trial. The charges carry potential prison time. The Maple Grove Police Department issues a public apology. It doesn't help. The chief of police resigns under pressure. Internal Affairs launches a full review of department practices. And Judge Williams, she returns to the bench, calm, composed, unbowed. In an interview months later, she says this: I knew who I was. I knew my rights. I had the education, the resources, the professional standing, and none of it mattered. He saw a black woman on a porch in a nice neighborhood, and he decided I didn't belong there. That's what this was. Not a misunderstanding, not an accident, a choice. But here's what the body cam didn't show. The nights after. The moment Judge Williams sat alone in her living room, staring at the porch through the window, unable to go outside, the way her mother flinched every time a car slowed down in front of the house, the way her father, a man who had lived through the civil rights movement, who had marched and protested and believed things were getting better, sat at the kitchen table with his head in his hands and wept. The body cam didn't capture the phone calls from colleagues, some supportive, some uncomfortable, some who quietly suggested maybe she should have just complied, just gotten in the car, just let it go. The body cam didn't show the sleepless nights, the replaying of every word, every gesture, wondering if there was something she could have said differently, something that would have made him see her as human. And it didn't show the moment 2 weeks later when she walked back into her courtroom, when she put on her robes, when she sat behind the bench and looked out at the faces in front of her, some of them police officers, some of them defendants who looked like her. And she made a choice. She would not let this break her. She would not let this silence her. She would not let this make her smaller. Because that's what Officer Moss wanted, whether he knew it or not. He wanted her to shrink, to comply, to accept that her credentials, her position, her dignity didn't matter as much as his perception of who she should be. And she refused. 8 months later, Officer Derek Moss sits in a courtroom, not Judge Williams's courtroom, that would be too much, but a courtroom nonetheless. His lawyer argues that he was following protocol, that he had reasonable suspicion, that he couldn't have known. But the body cam footage plays on a screen for the jury to see, and they watch as he laughs, as he dismisses, as he refuses again and again to do the simplest thing, to verify. The defense tries to argue that Judge Williams was uncooperative, that she escalated the situation. But the footage shows something else. It shows a woman who remained calm, who explained clearly, who invoked her rights without raising her voice, who only asked for what she was legally entitled to: verification. The prosecution calls witnesses, neighbors who saw the arrest, colleagues who testified to Judge Williams's character, experts who explained how protocol was violated at every turn. And then they call Judge Williams herself. She takes the stand. She's asked to describe what happened, and she does, calmly, methodically, without embellishment. When the defense attorney cross-examines her, he tries to suggest she could have just gone with Officer Moss, just cleared things up at the station. She looks at him for a long moment before answering. "I shouldn't have had to," she says. "I was on my own property. I had committed no crime. I provided identification. I identified myself as a judge, and he chose not to believe me. Not because my ID looked fake, not because I was behaving suspiciously, but because he had already decided who I was, and no amount of evidence was going to change his mind." The jury deliberates for 4 hours. When they return, Officer Derek Moss is found guilty on all counts: official misconduct, false arrest, deprivation of civil rights under color of law. The judge, not Judge Williams, but the one presiding over this case, sentences him to 2 years in county detention, 18 months to be served. He will never work in law enforcement again. As the verdict is read, Officer Moss sits perfectly still. His face is blank. He doesn't look at Judge Williams. He doesn't look at anyone. And for a brief moment, you can almost see it, the realization that the woman he arrested on that porch, the woman he didn't believe, the woman whose dignity he casually dismissed, has just watched him lose everything. December 2023, the city of Maple Grove settles the federal civil rights lawsuit for $9 million. It's one of the largest civil rights settlements in the state's history. The city council issues a statement, reforms are promised, implicit bias training, body cam accountability measures, community oversight. Judge Williams holds a press conference. She stands at a podium composed as ever. She doesn't gloat, she doesn't celebrate. Instead, she speaks directly to the camera. "This settlement is not about me," she says. "It's about every person who has been disbelieved, every person who has been dismissed, every person who has been told they don't belong in their own neighborhood, their own home, their own life. I had resources, I had education, I had a title, and still, I was not believed. So imagine what happens to those who don't have what I have. Imagine what happens when there's no body cam, when there are no witnesses, when there's no lawyer willing to take the case. That's who this is for." She announces that a significant portion of the settlement will go to organizations that provide legal defense for victims of police misconduct, to scholarship funds for students pursuing careers in law and criminal justice reform, to community programs that teach people their rights. This money will do more than sit in a bank account, she says. It will create change.
The press asks if she has anything to say to Officer Moss. She pauses, thinks, then answers, "I hope he understands now what he couldn't understand then, that I am not an exception, that my credentials do not make me more worthy of respect than anyone else, that every person, regardless of their job, their address, or the color of their skin, deserves to be believed when they tell you who they are." Someone asks if she's angry. She smiles, but it's not a happy smile. "Of course I'm angry," she says. "I'm angry that this happened. I'm angry that it happens every day. I'm angry that we're still having this conversation in 2023. But anger without action is just noise. So I'm choosing action." Judge Tamara Williams still lives at 1522 Riverside Drive. Her parents still visit, they still sit on the same porch, but things are different now. There's a wariness that wasn't there before, a weight. Her father doesn't sit outside as much. Her mother watches every car that drives by. Judge Williams has been reappointed twice since the incident. She continues to serve on the bench. She presides over cases with the same calm, the same rigor, the same integrity she always has. But now, when a police officer testifies in her courtroom, there's a different look in her eyes. Not hostility, not distrust, but awareness. A reminder that the badge does not make you right. It makes you responsible. Officer Derek Moss served his sentence. He was released in early 2025. He no longer lives in Ohio. He doesn't give interviews. He hasn't apologized publicly. Maybe he's moved on. Maybe he's learned. Maybe he hasn't. But here's what we know. The body cam footage is still online. It's been viewed millions of times. It's shown in law schools, in police academies, in community meetings. And every time someone watches it, they see the same thing. A woman standing on her porch, calm, dignified, right, and an officer who couldn't see it. If it can happen to a sitting judge on her own property in front of her own parents in a quiet neighborhood on a Wednesday evening, then who is truly safe? The answer, of course, is no one. Not if the person with the badge decides you don't look like you belong. Not if they decide your ID is fake. Not if they decide your words don't matter. The body cam showed us the truth, but the truth was always there. We just needed to be willing to see it. Judge Williams saw it, her parents saw it, her neighbors saw it. Now the question is, what are we going to do about it? If this story opened your eyes to something that needs to change, share it with someone who needs to see it. These stories matter, and so does your voice.